All right, so now, what did we do to 7 to make it 42? What do we multiply by? 6. So I multiply by 6 to the bottom and the top. 6 times 4, 24. So which is larger, 35 or 24? 35. So therefore, I put the greater than sign in the blank. Okay? Now, the common denominator of 42, okay, happens to be the least common denominator. Doesn't always work out that way. In this one, it did. Okay? So step 2 is to create two equivalent fractions with the common denominator from step 1. Okay, so let's look at another example. 5/8 and 7/10. Now, here's one. The common denominator would be 8 times 10, which is equal to 80. Okay? The least common denominator would be 40. Okay? And how I got this number is to do this. Take 8, prime factor it. That's 2 to the third power. Take 10, prime factor it. That's 2 times 5. Okay? We list the prime factors that were used. 2 and 5. Then we take the greatest exponent of each prime factor. So the greatest exponent of 2 is 2 to the third. The greatest exponent of 5 is 5 to the first. 2 to the third is 8 times 5, which is 40. Okay, now, some of you may be going, well, that takes too long, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know if it'll come in this lesson, but you're going to eventually have lessons that will have, 32 and 46 on the bottom of it. So for you to find the common denominator between 32 and 46 and just multiply those things out, you're going to be dealing with very, very large numbers. Okay, and then when you get to the end, you're eventually going to have to reduce those very, very large numbers. Okay, so it's always best to try to do the least common denominator for your fractions. Okay, so now we got 40 on the bottom. Okay, so what did I do to 5/8 to make it 40? What did I do to 8 to make it 40? Jonah. Okay, we did it times 5. So we're going to do the same thing to the top. 5 times 5? 25. Okay, what did I do to 7/10 to make it over 40? What did I multiply 10 by to get 40? Just call it out. What? By 4. So I must do the same thing to the top. 28. So which is larger, 25 or 28? Huh? 28. So therefore, we're going to put the less than sign in the blank. Because 7/10 would be larger than 5/8. Okay? So, what happens when they give us a decimal and fraction? Okay, for example, 5/8 and 0.25. Okay, first thing we must do is convert 0.25 to a fraction. What is 0.25 as a fraction? Michael? Yes, 25 over 100. Okay, so now I want to compare 5/8 and 25 over 100. Okay, well this one's a little bit more difficult, okay, because I've got to find a common denominator now between, I can take, like I said, 8 times 100, which would be 800. Okay, probably not the easiest way to do that one, so let's prime factor 8. 2, 4, 2, 2. So 2 to the third power. We prime factor 100, and I get 250, 225, 5, 5. So 2 to the second times 5 to the second. Now I list all the prime factors that are used, 2 and 5. Well, what's the greatest power of 2? What? Third power. What's the greatest power of 5? 2 power. So that's 8 times 25. 8 times 25, 200. So my LCD, also known as the LCM, is 200. So I'm going to convert the two fractions to 200. So what did I do to 8 to make it 200? 8 times 25. So I got to multiply by 25 to the top. 25 times 5 is what? 125. So what did I do to 200? What did I do to 100 to make it 200? No, what did I do to 100 to make it 200? Times 2. So I do the same thing at the top. That would be 50. So it's not even close. 5/8 is a lot larger than 0.25. Okay, because 125 is larger than 50 now that they have common denominators. Okay, so what if we have a mixed number and mixed decimal? So 2 2/3 and 2.67. Okay, so I have to convert 2.67 to a fraction. So what would that be as a fraction? Staley? Yes, 2 67 over 100. Okay, and then we have 2 2/3. So I need to find the common denominator between 100 and 3. Does 3 go into 100 evenly? No. So I just have to multiply them together. So I'm going to find the LCD is 3 times 100, which is equal to 300. So 300 on the bottom here, 300 on the bottom here. So we already know that the 2's are the same, so we've got to move to the fraction. So what did we do to 3 to make it 100? Times it by 100. So I do the same thing at the top, that gives me 200. Right? Okay, what did I do to 100 to make it 300? Times 3. Do the same thing to the top, you get 201. So this one is larger, so 2.67 would be the larger of the two fractions. All right, so your homework. We're not going to get to the ordering part today. I'll have to cover it tomorrow, so obviously you won't have any homework over that part of it. Your homework is 4.3, 1 through 6, 9 through 20, 27 and 28. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes left in class. I want you to go ahead and, obviously we did the first one, I think. No, I didn't do the first one there. I did it on another page. So go ahead and start. Maybe you'll get 1 or 2 of them done. Okay, that is due tomorrow.